What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Prison Architect, and today we're going to be looking at our final episode where we're going to go over the last 4 tabs that we have in the game before we really start getting into building and managing our own prison. So let's jump right in. First, we have the Logistics tab, which is going to break down a few different things in our prison, especially when it gets much bigger, like prison labor, where we will be able to assign prisoners jobs working in the laundry, the kitchen, the cooking, other areas as well, put some of that labor to work. We also have the food distribution, which will allow us to assign kitchens to cook for different canteens in case we need to keep them separate from the rest of the population. We also have the laundry distribution because we know how much minimum security guys can't stand having their underwear mixed with maximum security, just in case we care. The room quality is probably the most important button on this menu, as it will allow us to see the room quality of each cell that we have created. It's important to note that prisoners will have ratings as to the quality of cell that they deserve. For instance, a level 3 room might have a television in it, might be a little bit bigger, more comfortable for that prisoner, but if that prisoner decides to try and escape and gets caught, he could automatically be bumped down to a number 1 or a number 2, which he's not going to have that cushy television or maybe as much room to move around. With that said, it's important to keep in mind that if somebody is downgraded to a specific number of room and you don't have that room available, they could end up in your holding cell, where after time their rating could get bumped back up as long as they behave themselves and become a model inmate. Moving on to the intelligence tab, this will allow us to access our informants who will squeal on the population and give us the location of contraband, which we can then break down through these other menus. It gives us a supply and demand of each type of different contraband, and will also allow us to trace where they have been the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, and where they've been stolen from, so we can try and plug some of the holes as to how this contraband is getting to the population. Moving on to the quick build, we have ourselves some basics that they have given us, like a basic cell or a basic solitary cell, and that goes all the way down to common rooms and utility rooms. The clone tool is a nice tool to have if you would like to build your own custom cells or custom offices and have them duplicated. You go ahead and select that tool, right click and drag. It's important to note that these tools will only clone a specific number of squares. For instance, you couldn't select a whole building and duplicate a whole building. Moving on to the planning tab, this is one of my favorite tabs in the game, only because I like to make sure that my prison is planned out and ready to go, so I don't have any surprises of any rooms not fitting or any objects that are sticking out like sore thumbs, and just gives you a nice general idea as to what your prison is going to look like, how it's going to function and flow. Left click's going to draw the chalkboard, right click and dragging or just right clicking will delete anything that we have created. The last tab we have here is emergencies, and as you probably guessed it, only goes for emergencies. If we have a fire, call the fire department. If we have a riot, call the riot police, and it's always good to have those paramedics on scene in case there are injuries. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and drop comments down below. This is going to do it for the basic guide to Prison Architect. Now we can get into building some serious prisons and keeping our prisoners safe and secure. Check out that video. I know we're going to have a good time, and I will see you then. Peace.